Welcome to Fox Sports' special presentation of the 2003 Rugby Union World Cup. And what a tournament it was, with record crowds attending in Australia. Its success due largely to the teams that fought it out on the field. Tonight we look at some of the characters who took part in the tournament, starting with the Namibians. Tim Wharton caught up with the African side and discovered that while they may not have won a game, there were definitely no regrets about coming down under.
In the world of rugby union, the Namibians are the true definition of minnows. In contrast to the giants of the game like Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, England and France, the Velvitches, as they're known, have few resources and even fewer players to choose from. The country, situated just to the north of South Africa on the west coast, boasts a population of just under 2 million, with only 19 rugby clubs and just 1,100 senior players. And virtually all of them are amateurs. But despite all the odds, they have qualified for their second World Cup. These young African hopefuls showing fans what the true spirit of rugby union is all about, playing the game for the sheer love of it.
I hope that people can see that we like the game, and that's back home we just play it for the fun. So I hope we can give that out to the people, if they can see that behind our games, that's about the love of rugby, not for the money or for something else.
Skalk van der Merwe is a great example of Namibian rugby union. The 29-year-old flanker, who also played in 1999, has to make a trek of 300 kilometres from his farm to train once a week with his teammates in the capital Windhoek. But while he finds it tough at times, Skalk is living out a dream, playing for his country against the best in the world.
That means a lot to me. I mean, that's my country to start off with. I see myself as an African, I see myself as a Namibian, and so I'm very proud to be here and representing Namibia.
When Skalk isn't training or playing for his country, most of the time you'll find him helping his family run a wildlife sanctuary, which includes taking care of lions. It's certainly an unusual occupation, and he admits on one occasion he found himself coming up very close and personal with a big cat as he tried to rescue his sister's favourite baboon, Smithy.
He got out one day and we were chasing him around, and he was stupid enough to jump into the lion enclosure. And I was also so stupid I went with him. And eventually the lion got him, and I was trying to get the baboon from the lion. And first I tried by pulling, and that didn't work, so I hit him in the face with the fist, and that didn't work. So I used all different kinds of things. I headbutted him, and that didn't work. So I eventually got a stone, I hit the lion on the head and it let go, and then I just went out of the baboon, and but it was too late.
So compared to taking on lions, it must be a lot easier taking on a forward pack in the Rugby Union World Cup.
Yeah, I would not say so. I mean, they're professional in what they do. I mean, I grow up with the animals, I grow up with the lions, so for me it's easy. It's, I can explain, it's like the divers will go and dive with sharks. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I don't feel comfortable there. I feel comfortable with the animals that I know.
He's got his fifth. Rudi van Vuuren takes 5 wickets in the England innings with the final ball of that England innings.
Rudi van Vuuren, Skalk's brother-in-law, is another remarkable character in the Namibian team. Less than a year ago, he was playing in the Cricket World Cup for his country. Now he's been selected in the African Nations Rugby Union World Cup squad. It's a unique achievement, but it has come at a cost. Van Vuuren is also a doctor, and the price of his sporting career means he has to find another medical practitioner to replace him while he tours. But there are definitely no regrets.
you can't put the memories that I'll have one day into monetary terms. I'll never be able to say the price of playing in a Rugby and Cricket World Cup in the same year is this. That's, I mean, and I can't play rugby and cricket forever. I can be a doctor forever or conservationist forever, but not rugby and cricket forever.
Former captain and inside centre, Corne Powell, is also a doctor who has to work for a living and train when he can. But while being an amateur has its drawbacks, there is little jealousy when he looks at teams like Australia. In fact, he welcomes the opportunity to take on the big names of world rugby.
It's tough, but it's something you have to do. I mean, if you want to play at this level, you've got to accept that you are an amateur, you know, facing a professional, and you've got to go out and you've got to do it as good as you can. I mean, I don't think anyone can ask any more of you. If you lose by 100 and you've done your best, you played as hard as you can, and that's basically all anyone can ask.
One man who knows exactly what it's like on the other side of the fence is coach Dave Waterston. The former Kiwi and Otago centre was involved with the Springboks during their successful 1995 World Cup campaign and also coached Tonga 4 years later. Now he's in charge of Namibia, and he admits it's quite a culture shock, particularly when you compare the South Africans to their neighbours.
Well, it's going from champagne to flat beer, but the rewards are greater. I must tell you, a top team, you're only doing finesse coaching. A bottom team, you've got to coach your pants off. You've got to bring boys in who haven't learned this or haven't learned that, and you're sweating out there, and it's the most rewarding. In a way, it's like coaching, and I don't mean in a derogatory term, it's like coaching school kids. You're working your pants off and you're seeing the improvement in leaps and bounds.
It must be tough taking on a team like Namibia compared to the Springboks, who are totally professional. What sort of problems do you face?
You've got managerial, you've got guys coming to you with their problems. You're actually like the Mother Teresa of the team, and that's debilitating. It takes a lot out of you, and at the end of the day, you're only 20% coaching and you're 80% man management. With a bigger side like Australia, England, especially England, you've got so much of a comfort zone that at the end of the day, you're becoming very sort of esoteric in the way you're coaching, as opposed to here, you're coaching your pants off, you're getting back, you're dealing with problems. It's not a 9-to-5 job, it's a 24-hour job.
Well, much to the relief of the Namibians, the referee has said, that's it. It's full time. Look at the scoreline. Argentina 67, Namibia 14. Full time in Gosford.
Of course, when you find yourself being belted by the bigger, more professional teams in the World Cup, there are times when the Namibian coach wonders what he got himself in for when he agreed to take on his new charges. But it seems that on the whole, the good times outweigh the bad ones.
I looked at these guys, and sometimes you could cry because they can't give anymore. And you look at it and say, have I done them a disfavour getting to the World Cup? And then you look at them 2 days later saying, well, I know when the fly-off's going to move because he's dipping his shoulder, his hand moved. And you say, gee, that guy learnt a lot in 80 minutes. This is the thing that the World Cup is great for. It brings players on that hours of coaching could never do.
It's certainly been an experience for the Namibians at the 2003 World Cup. While they may have been on the wrong end of the scoreboard, they'll never regret coming to Australia or forget the reaction they have received from fans down under.
They know about rugby, and that's quite nice for us. I mean, we're not used to that. Back home, there's not so many people. I mean, like the Argentinian game the other day was for us something else to see so many people and so many people supporting us, and it was amazing.
The Namibians will never forget us, and we will never forget them. They came to Australia to give their best and represent their country against the best. And regardless of the results, the Velvitches will return home proud to have taken part in this tournament, the African minnows destined to be part of rugby union history.
It's a tremendous privilege for me, you know, to be part of something this big, you know, you become part of rugby history if you can represent your country at something like the World Cup. So you know, for me to look back in 20 or 30 years time, you know, and open up the books and say, you know, I was there, I was part of Rugby World Cup 2003, and I'm part of rugby history. That's a privilege, and that's something you can carry with you for life.